I'm a veterinarian and a mystery author. I'm going to read an excerpt from my debut cozy mystery, Tragedy in Tahoe. But before I begin, I thought you might be interested in knowing what inspired me to write this book. Back in 2018, I went on a tour of the Thunderbird Lodge near Incline Village in Lake Tahoe. It was built by George Whittle back in 1936. Whittle had a 600-foot-long underground tunnel carved out of the granite bedrock below his estate to enable him to move between the card house, the boathouse, and the main house on his property without being seen by people passing by in their boats. Our tour guide led us down into that tunnel and showed us a small room off the tunnel called the Opium Room. It was really creepy, with black ironwork devils on the fireplace screen and a red globe backlighting them. I was fascinated by that room. It looked like the perfect place for a murder. That room captured my imagination and became the inspiration for me to write Tragedy in Tahoe. In Tragedy in Tahoe, the room in which the murder victim is found is called the Absinthe Room instead of the Opium Room, but it looks just like the Opium Room. If you're interested, I have some booklets that I put together here called Behind the Scenes that has photos that I took on that tour, that has photos of the underground tunnel and the Opium Room. And now I'll read a brief excerpt from Tragedy in Tahoe. And starting on page 14, if anyone happens to be reading along. She took Bella down to the private beach and then walked with her along the lakeshore path. Bella had her nose glued to the ground as she happily explored the smells of the forest. The quiet and peacefulness helped to soothe Riley's troubled mind. She was still reeling from the loss of her job. She'd moved to Tahoe for the summer to give herself some time to figure out what she's going to do with her life, now that she'd lost the only veterinarian position she'd ever had. Then handsome Colin Matthews dies, or is possibly murdered, right on the property where she was staying. Everything suddenly felt out of control. When she got back to her house, she got Bella her breakfast. She started some coffee brewing, poured herself a glass of orange juice, and made some toast. She sat down at the table to eat her breakfast. Her gaze wandered over the beautiful lake views through the window as she ate. What a beautiful setting. It doesn't seem like a setting where someone could possibly have been murdered. I hope they find out what happened soon. Poor Colin. I can't believe this happened. She finished her breakfast and then puttered around the house looking for things to keep herself busy. A knock at the door startled her out of her thoughts. Bella ran to the door, barking loudly. Placer County Sheriff's Department. A strong male voice called through the door. She opened the door to see a handsome man with broad shoulders, curly sandy brown hair, and a stubble beard. He looked like he might be about her age. His kind brown eyes put her immediately at ease. I'm Detective Mark Felton. I'm in charge of the investigation into the death of Colin Matthews. Are you Dr. Rylie Sunderland? Yes, I am. Would you like to come in? He stepped inside. I understand that Liam and Jillian came over to let you know that Colin Matthews died in the Absinthe Room last night. Yes, they did. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Dr. Sunderland, but we have reason to believe that Colin didn't die of natural causes. We're now considering this a murder investigation. She felt a little lightheaded. Would you like to sit down, Dr. Sunderland? No, I'm fine. She threw back her shoulders resolutely and stood a little taller. And please, call me Rylie. Okay, Rylie. Can you please tell me if you saw anything suspicious at the locals' night party last night? Or if anyone led you to believe they might be upset with Colin Matthews for any reason? She did a mental run-through of the events that occurred during the party. She didn't remember seeing anything suspicious, but she remembered that Patrick O'Farrell had looked angry when he saw Colin Matthews. She told Detective Felton about her conversation with Patrick O'Farrell. What was your relationship with Colin Matthews? I didn't have a relationship with him, she replied. I just met him Friday morning when he came to make his delivery. Jillian told me that Colin told you that he needed to speak to you on locals night. Yes, he did, she replied, but I have no idea what he wanted to talk to me about. Like I said, I just met him on Friday. He said he needed to speak to me and he would catch up with me later. When I was ready to go, I looked all over for him to find out what he wanted to talk to me about, but I couldn't find him anywhere. Jillian told me not to worry about it because I'd see him on Monday morning when he made his delivery. So I went home. Colin had a piece of paper in his pants pocket. Detective Felton held up a clear plastic evidence bag with a piece of paper inside. She read the note quickly, then swallowed hard. Is this your name and cell phone number, he asked. Yes, it is. Do you have any idea why Colin Matthews would have your name and cell phone number in his pocket? That's it for my reading today.
Thank you. All right.
I also have these beautiful bookmarks of Lake Tahoe if anybody's interested or if who wants to chat. See me after the readings. Thank
Let
you.
me get your
Oh, sorry.
Susan, you're next. You need this?